Crystal Joy Bennett, my daughter, 19 years old. In fact, she just turned 19 a week before, and her girlfriend, Taryn, was caught in a crossfire at a gas station, no doubt, where two guys having issues with each other, shooting at each other, and one bullet went through her car door, went through her body, stopped in the heart of her girlfriend next to her, and both girls died. That was the beginning of a very bad nightmare for me and my family. Her last words, because there was a third girl in the car, and her last words was, "Somebody please call my mommy." That will forever pierce my heart because mommy wasn't there. I went through, my God, all kinds of heartache and pain, not being able to breathe, sometimes not wanting to breathe because the pain was so rippling.
My son's name is Dre Charles Kealix Henry, and he was born in Waynesboro, Mississippi on May the 4th, 1996. On April the 26th, 2019, his life was taken. That was one of the most dreadful days, horrific days of my life. My husband got there, and we waited for them to call us to the back so that we could figure out what was going on, or so that they could tell us what was going on. And all the time my heart is racing and my mind is shifting from one place to another. I'm praying and just feeling like I'm in a dream. And then it was like the next few minutes, the young lady came out, and she was actually one of the students that was at the school that I started my teaching career. And I remembered her face, but I remembered her as a little third grader. But she was now a nurse. And she came out and she said, "Miss Henry." And she called me to the back. And my husband and I walked to the back. And that again was like a dream or something, because when we went to the back, we stopped in the middle of the hallway, and it was like everybody stopped and started looking at us as if they weren't prepared to tell us what they were getting ready to tell us. And my husband and I stopped, and the doctor looked at us in the middle of the hallway and said he didn't make it. And I can't even describe what I felt at that moment. I can't find the words to describe what was going on the inside of me at that moment.
For more than half a century, America's Black urban centers have been ground zero for acts of carnage. And while gang violence has taken the lives of too many teenagers and young men, many of those killed have been innocent children who were caught in a crossfire. Compounding this tragedy are those left behind, specifically the Black mothers of these children, with no way to voice their demand to reduce the street violence in their neighborhoods. Until now. Voices of Black Mothers United will ensure they are heard by the entire nation. The Woodson Center launched this new initiative to raise public awareness of these tragic deaths, provide these mothers with mutual support, and collaborate with law enforcement and community members to make their neighborhoods safe and peaceful once again. Its founder, Bob Woodson, explains how the center's 40 years of experience in finding local solutions to urban violence led to the formation of Voices of Black Mothers United.
First of all, black mothers live in those communities suffering the problem, and therefore they should determine how that community should be protected. Secondly, they are the ones who are the best authority on what constitutes a solution. And thirdly, they are the ones that have to live with the consequence of decisions made by the police and by public officials about where investments should be made. Those decisions should be made by the people suffering the problem and have the greatest consequence for those in the community. Also, they have a proprietary interest in solutions, not rhetoric. They have recommendations to make. They are the ones who know what effective policing looks like. They know how to properly deploy police. So therefore, their voice should be the primary one that officials listen to, as opposed to the rhetoric of people who don't have to suffer the consequence of the decisions made in those communities.
Another key to the Woodson Center's past success in reducing youth violence in urban areas was the close cooperation they established with the local police departments. As such, the center, along with these united black mothers, are strongly opposed to defunding police departments. Instead, they favor sensible reforms where needed. Rodney Monroe, a former police chief, explains.
In order for this to work, in order for police and black mothers of homicide victims to come together, there has to be a level of trust. And with that comes an openness that both sides will have to have in order to trust one another. And there's a lot of dynamics that come into play because you're asking them to come inside of an organization, black mothers to come inside of police organizations, and you're asking police organizations to come further inside of the community and the lives and the homes of victims of homicides. Defunding the police would take away viable resources that can be used to help support families and victims of homicides. Bottom line.
Marcus Jones is chief of police in Montgomery County, Maryland, adjacent to Washington, D.C. His insight into why the Black Mothers United initiative is needed is informative.
Particularly in today's climate, when we're talking about policing in our communities, I think, and when we're talking to a lot of politicians, we're talking to our community members, what's being lost in these conversations are victims' families. Every opportunity I get to remind the politicians about when we talk about crime and we talk about certain things happening in our communities, that there are victims that are out there that don't necessarily have the voice.
With the launch of Voices of Black Mothers United, this group will provide their valuable insights to promote better cooperation between local communities and law enforcement. They'll participate in the training and deployment decisions of law enforcement, and they'll help reduce local murder rates by enlisting community-based approaches that promote healing from within their neighborhoods. In short, it gives mothers a voice that needs to be heard in every corner of America.
And I am very, very thankful for being a part of Voices of Black Mothers United. Thankful for the opportunity to be mentored and being able to watch and learn from such a phenomenal example of advocacy.
Please go to the Woodson Center website, get the information, join us, and we will contact you. Remember, one story of hurt and despair can become a story of hope and healing.